Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our paper Trust-EX, Object-Oriented Approach to Online Privacy. Today we are facing a lot of problems which are connected with a new phenomena and a new quality which was brought to our everyday life by internet. One of the major reasons or problems is that the legislation compared to the fast technological progress is very slow, it's conservative, it doesn't keep with the technological progress and doesn't or cannot even guarantee the same legal environment on internet as in the real life. Hence, we can say that there is a lack of trust on the internet, which is one of the major today's problems. This is based or this is caused primarily by the reason that on internet the users are actually anonymous and they don't have verified or trusted identity. They can act anonymously, and it's very hard to prove that a certain person had performed some actions. This led to the rise of a new kind of crime, of cybercrime. The general situation is that the user registers to dozens of portals. The standard situation would be to register with different credentials on each portal, hence having to remember tens of thousands of different credentials to have the safety of each private data entered directly to the portal. However, the common situation is even worse. Very often, the same user uses the same credentials for registering and logging to different portals. Hence, his private data and information included on the portals is not protected sufficiently. If one of the portals and his credentials are hacked and the information leaks, then the hacker can access all the information or the private data of the user on the other portals. Solutions for achieving trust on internet are so far mostly technical solutions based on asymmetric encryption, public key infrastructure, and on certain authentication means like grid cards, one-time password by sending a short message to mobile, to handy, smart cards and so on, or even biometrical solutions. From the point of view of the organization, we know two approaches: the centralized approach with certification authorities and the decentralized approach with web of trust. The general problem is that for acts on internet, for our virtual life, the internet lacks the legal certainty which we know from everyday life. That means having the trusted identity of persons with whom we communicate on internet, to verify the legal acts which are performed by these persons, to have a stable and verifiable electronic documents which contain legal relations and are accessible on the internet and so on. Also, the existing solutions have focused more on the technological aspect and tools, the public key infrastructure, and not on the social aspect of the trust. That means the trust of each person to another person, and actually the situation is known in the real life. Also, the public key infrastructure with private and public keys and many technological specialties is incomprehensible and impractical for just normal people. The solution which we have developed and implemented is based actually on very few basic principles known from object-oriented approach. Identity, that means the sole existence of a thing, that the thing or the data of the thing is not replicated to different places and it preserves its identity in the environment and acts on itself. And encapsulation, that means all the private data is encapsulated within this thing and is disclosed only on demand and at the discretion of the owner of the object itself. The TRUST-EX stands for Trusted Exchange, which is meant primarily trusted exchange of information of the private data, but also trusted exchange of whole objects, like exchange of documents and another kind of actions performed on the internet. TRUST-EX includes or features electronic identity for natural persons as well as legal persons, that means companies, representing or mandating individuals in actions. The person can mandate another person to act for him in the internet. Every person is managing his or her own private data attributes, which may be witnessed by another person that they are true. And for actions and documentations of the relations, electronic mailbox for trusted communication between persons in writing, and trustworthy electronic documents stored on the internet, eDoc, are introduced. Electronic identity for natural persons is actually an abstract registration which keeps its identity. The privacy of the data which is included or connected with this natural person is protected by two-phase authentication. That means the user has to use either grid card, one-time password, or another means for when accessing this account when logging in. Within this account, he declares all his personal data which he needs or wants for to be used on internet, like name, address, phone number, and so on. He may include copies of documents like diploma or his photography and so on. About each of the data, he or she decides whether it will be his private data accessible only to him, whether the data will be public, or whether the data may be accessed by specified by individuals, by portals or other systems which are specified by him. Either a kind of portals like e-shops, all e-shops may access my postal address, for example, or exactly one person like social insurance, which is allowed to access my specific data. Each of the data may be verified by another person, trusted institution like a registry office, a notary, bank or municipality. As soon as the data is verified by the other person, it's marked, and after the verification, I cannot change anymore the data without losing this verification. That means if some of the data is verified by somebody else, another third parties may be almost sure that the data is correct and valid if they trust the verification authority. In general, it looks like that the person has one sole registration on the EID system with login and password and two-factor or multi-factor authentication, and all the data which he needs for other portals. When registering at other portals, only his electronic identity identifier is included as a connection between the person and his account on the portal. No data is stored, and necessary or needed data is requested from the identity server just in time when needed. This also guarantees that the other portals get most up-to-date data. For example, if I change my address or my phone number, they access the very up-to-date data when they need it. And also from the point of view of the online privacy, the other portals don't need and don't store even any private data. Hence, they also doesn't need to fulfill the legal obligations which are today brought to other portals to protect the privacy of the users. Legal persons, companies, have also abstract registration, but as legal persons they cannot act really because they don't exist physically. That means they have to be represented by other persons. They may authorize other persons to act for them on the internet. This representation or mandate is actually a general representation of between natural and legal persons, including also the transitional representation. That means if I mandate somebody, he or she may mandate somebody else, a third party, to act for me if I allow this, based on the Civil Act. Of course, finally, for a legal person, some natural person is acting, either directly mandated or mandated by somebody else. Electronic identifiers identifying persons on the internet are simply unique alphanumeric strings. The most typical identifier most frequently used is simply the email address of the physical person, which has to be unique from obvious reasons. There are another options for meaningful identifiers containing some of my data, like containing the name of the company or containing the registration number of the company and so on. For protecting personal information like name or gender or date of birth, meaning-free identifiers are used or often welcome, which are simply randomly generated numbers similar to phone numbers, or optional, like if it is available, I may use my phone number to be my identifier on internet. It is important from the point of view of privacy that the electronic identifier is not one for the whole life, but that the person may freely change the identifiers and make possess at the same time simultaneously several multiple identifiers and change them and revoke them, for example, just like phone numbers and having several phone numbers, for example, from the reason of security and privacy. Attributes the private data. Each of the private data is declared by its owner, and it is assumed that it's true, but this is not verified or not guaranteed. About each attribute, as I already told, the owner decides to whom this data will be accessible. The attributes may be verified by other verifiers, and about this verification, a credible record is created, including timestamp, and each attribute may be verified more than once. That means I may get my name and address verified by several institutions, and the more the same data is verified by several persons, the more trusted it may be for third parties. There are there are various levels of verification. 0 is actually no level. It's only declaration. 1 is for the verification of the postal address, that the person may be accessed by his or her address. Level 2 is for commercial verifier, like company, electronic notary, who is providing the verification as a service for this community, and so on, or simply your friend. 3 are generally trusted institutions like municipality, notary, lawyer, bank, post office, and so on. 4 is reserved for government with direct support by law, and 5 is actually on the top level, which is not used for verification of the data, only for the verification of these levels for other persons who will be verifying the data. So this was the electronic identity. Now there are two other parts of TRUST-EX. The one is electronic mailbox, post office box, which is trusted and verifiable delivery of electronic documents or electronic communication, which of course uses trusted identity, and the delivery of the document is trusted, and it may be proved. Every change is marked by a timestamp, and it can be shown that the particular document or mail was really delivered, unlike standard email where delivery is not guaranteed and cannot be proved. Actually, the post office box uses electronic doc for short-term storage of the documents and for the disclosure to the other persons who participate in the communication. What's up? Doesn't work. Oh, okay. Electronic documents is a kind of electronic notary. That means it's a storage of electronic documents on the internet with guaranteed contents and timestamp when they have been published, and the disclosures to designated persons or to the public. That means if I tell that this particular document will be accessible only to my family, only my family will be able to access this document, and nobody else. The documents have attributes similar to persons in electronic identity, like including, for example, relationship and so on. They have versions, for example, successive versions of terms and conditions of electronic shop, and of course the contents the document itself. Conclusion: TRUST-EX is creating a kind of social networks. That means a network of parties on the internet which who trust each other and bring similar environment of mutual trust to internet as known from the real life, however based on a decentralized solution. It's orthogonal to the public infrastructure. Signatures and encryption may be used, but it's not necessary for working and for the trust which is brought by TRUST-EX. That means it's transparent for normal people. Of course, internally, TRUST-EX uses encryption means based on PGP. But this is orthogonal, transparent to the user, and he or she doesn't need to bother with private key and so on. Electronic identity system, Slovak, and post office box are in operation since 2010, 2011 as a part of a solution for municipalities, government system for municipalities. Currently we are finishing the full-featured version of TRUST-EX, including also electronic documents and featuring single sign-on for other portals. That means user has to log only once, and then he's already connected to all the other portals, and he or she may access all the information. That means he enters a kind of private space protected by this environment. Our context. Now I will show very briefly how the system looks like and works. Unfortunately, it's only in Slovak. There are also descriptions of the system and how physical and legal person may use the system. Contact. If I log in to the electronic identity, I will not use the grid card or SMS to make it faster. Now, this is the system for preserving my identity and private data. My login number, credential and email address, phone number, last time of logging in, my private address, and so on. Within my profile, I have a private data, my address, my mail address, identifiers. The data, which is gray, is verified. It cannot be altered anymore by me. The other data may be changed. I forgot to mention that with each identity, some credit, now I have a little bit more than 10 euro, is associated, which is used for micropayments connected with the system. I can have a look at my current account and see all the transactions which were for sending short messages and so on, or access my invoices which I received. Back to the profile. My official address is also verified, cannot be changed without losing the verification. My postal address can be freely changed by me. That means if I move for a couple of months somewhere, I can change the address without losing the validity or the verified identity. As with the identifiers, I have today 3 identifiers. One is just random, which is used by default. The other is actually my phone number, to have the same identity in the system as with the phone number. And the third is my name. Each of the identifier may be revoked, and I can ask to get another identifier. If I get a new identifier, I can ask for verifying this identifier by some authority. Changing the password, change of the or new verification of the identity. The way of authorizing the two-phase authentication is none. As I told, I can by SMS, by one-time password, by grid card, or by email, which is not very preferred. Well, then post office box. This is used, for example, for municipality Old Town, Bratislava. If the user clicks here, he gets to the post office box of this municipality. Now I will log in to my box, and I see my last communication with different addresses. I can have a look at a certain communication. This is the number and who received it and who is in charge of dealing with this communication. Here is the sender. It's me, verified identity. And the receiver also with verified identity. Actually, it's not necessary. You may communicate also with not verified identity. But here I can be sure that really the receiver, the verified receiver, received this communication when it was sent. Here maybe my and mark and so on and so on. And here is actually the text of the communication. And creating a new mail or letter, you may use forms prepared for this reason. Just include some information and attach some attachment or copies, send to somebody and send it. Well, actually that's it. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for your attention.